for the closure. I'm older and I'm moving faster than ever. I'm cold with it, whether for casters or whether it's 4 lines or more. I'm the master of never.
What's up guys, it's Pastor Jordan. I'm back with another video. Today we're reacting to somebody new. He is up and coming, and I kind of scrolled through the video a little bit when I was checking it out, and it sounds really, really good. He reminds me of a few different artists, so I'm excited to just hop into it. His name is IAmFlamez, and his link will be in the description, and this video is called Save Me From Myself, and the beat is a Freak Van Workum beat, which, if you don't know him, he's super popular on YouTube, specifically for like beats with hooks, and they're always really, really good, like cinematic style beats. So I'm excited to hear this song. I'm excited to share it with you guys. I think it has a pretty positive message, but other than that, we're just gonna hop right into it and show my man some support. So this is IAmFlamez. And just notice, like, this is always what I talk about when I react to like artists who are not famous yet. But you can make such a great music video with such like just basic stuff. Like, he's got some smoke bombs going off. You can find those anywhere, and then just a drone footage coming down, and literally looks like a used construction site. And it just, look how good it looks though. Look how nice and cinematic everything is. You know, you can take such, like, it doesn't have to cost you $1,000 to make a good music video, but you put some time in, you put some effort, you invest yourself into it as much as you can, and you're gonna create something great. So already, good job.
Save me from myself, I'm putting me through hell, and I could use some help before it's too late. Just save me from myself.
I've been trying to fight these voices, throwing punches with my demons, but the more I push them off, that's when talking turns to screaming.
So that's like some NF vibes, right? Black hoodie, balloons, a clown mask. That's, again, with the Freak Van Workum beats, like the hook is really nice, but then he comes in and he has this like deep, hard-hitting voice, and that's, I don't know, when I listen to rap, like, you can be a great rapper, but if your voice isn't there, it doesn't hit as hard. I know Crip talks about it a lot. He says that he wishes he had a better voice, because he can rap all day long, but he says that there's a lot of people who have a better voice than he does, and this guy has a great voice. And then he kind of just comes in real hard, so I just want to go back. I want to hear it again.
Before it's too late, just save me from
I've been trying to fight these voices, throwing punches with my demons, but the more I push them off, that's when talking turns to screaming. That's when screaming turns to bleeding. That's when bleeding turns to dreaming. Everybody just wants happiness, but never finds the meaning. Maybe there's something I ain't seeing, so I really can't believe it, cause they don't make the type of medicine to numb the way I'm feeling. I close myself to other people, keep my distance when they're reaching the person that I love the most. I broke her down to a million pieces. This is
damn. Okay, so he's saying, like, I'm just at this point where nothing's working, right? He says there's no medicine for how I feel. There's no medicine that's gonna take it away. He says it's causing pain in my relationships. Like, I broke this girl down into a million pieces. Obviously, he doesn't want to. If he's talking about it here, like, he's resentful about it. You know, he's repentful about it. But he's saying, like, this is causing so much strife in my life. He says, I'm trying to fight it. Like, I'm throwing hands with my demons, but it just turns into more and more and more and more. It's just that weight keeps building up and up and up, and there's no escape. We talk about that on this channel all the time. That's how people feel. That's how you get, you know, when you just kind of live life and you go through the motions, or you just, everybody feels that way at some point in their life. Everybody goes through it. Everybody deals with it. It's just something that nobody wants to talk about, because everybody's so afraid to be rejected. Everybody's so afraid to be vulnerable. Everybody's so afraid to say those things, because it's easier to just be cliche. It's easier to just pretend like it's not there. But he's talking about it like, you know, as if he was writing in a journal. And it's so easy to make a song. It's so easy to sit here and listen to the song and to understand it. but we never have the conversations about it, right? Nobody ever wants to talk about it. That's why I love artists like this so much, because they're just gonna say what needs to be said, and then everybody in the comments, you know, agrees with it, and everybody in the comments understands it. But we never talk about it with our friends. We never talk about it with our family. That's why I push you guys so much to open up to people, because you never know what could happen from that.
Distance when they're reaching the person that I love the most. I broke her down to a million pieces. This is more than just some music. This is really how I feel. I don't smoke, I don't drink, and I ain't turning to no pills. They say love will get you killed. Well, there's a bullet in my chest and a gun inside my head that symbolizes all the stress. So can you?
So he's basically saying, like, even though I'm at this point in my life where I'm looking for something to ease all of this pain, I'm looking for something to take it all away, he understands that it's not going to be drinking, it's not going to be, you know, pills, it's not going to be smoking, it's not going to be anything else. And he's saying, but it doesn't mean that there's not this empty hole in my chest. There's not this emptiness inside me. I just understand that it's not, you know, it's not smoking, it's not drugs, it's not drinking, it's not any of that other stuff. And that probably comes from his own past experiences. Maybe it was him doing it, maybe it was his parents, his mom, his dad, whoever. But a lot of times, just because you know that drugs are not going to fix it, doesn't mean you don't end up in the same mental state as somebody who went and got addicted to drugs. And let me explain this very clearly. That's why a lot of people don't understand why, you know, so many people love artists like Juice WRLD. They love artists that talk about this stuff. Even though they've never tried drugs their entire life, they're fans of those people's music because they understand what it feels like to have a hole in your chest. They understand what it feels like to be struggling with all these demons. They understand what it feels like to say that if love is painful, I literally have a hole in my heart. I have this gun to my head that symbolizes everything that I'm dealing with, everything that's been stressing me and pressing me down. You don't have to be addicted to drugs to understand that. Drugs are just a way that people self-medicate that feeling, but so many people go through that feeling, and then we just kind of all judge each other, like, oh, you did it this way, or oh, you're addicted to this, or you're dealing with this. Like, we should be helping each other, but most of the time we don't.
Save me from my inside my head that symbolizes all this.
No, I'm gonna go back a little bit more.
No pills. They say love will get you killed. Well, there's a bullet in my chest and a gun inside my head that symbolizes all the stress. So can you save me from myself?
I'm putting me through hell, and I could use some help before it's too late. Save me from myself, 'cause I don't feel so well.
Like, this is an example of somebody, I feel like, who took the time to really learn some cinematography, even just a little bit. Because you can go out, I've seen other videos where people just literally go out into the street and like film a music video, and it looks like they just went out in the street and filmed a music video. This, he didn't do very much, right? He's got a cot there, and he's got a green light, and he's sitting with his friend probably that he got to put a mask on and hold a machete, and look how good it looks. Somebody took their time editing this. I don't know if he edited it, but somebody took their time, and this video just came out really, really good. Everything looks really nice. Obviously, the camera quality is very nice too, which is always good. But you still have to film correctly, right? And you still have to edit correctly. And it's just a little bit of time and a little bit of effort, and you come out with something that's really, really great. This video definitely deserves a lot more views than it has.
Save me from myself, 'cause I don't feel so well. I need you here to tell me I'll be okay. Just save me from myself.
The time just keeps on ticking while my thoughts, they just get twisted. I can feel them clawing at me, and I can't fight off all this wicked. I'm addicted to addiction. Everything is so addictive. Can you hold me until it's over? Because right now I feel like I'm finished. So I'll make this bed my prison as I spend my nights in hell. Because these sentences and bars ain't really good for all my cells, and I don't.
Wow. Alright, so this is what I was talking about in my last video with Juice WRLD, where he says, I just need more drugs, I need a new plug. Like, you get to this point in your life where you feel like nothing's working, and he even says, like, everything's addictive. I'm addicted to addiction. Like, there's there's just a desire in me. You go from vice to vice to vice, or addiction to addiction to addiction. There's something in you that isn't able to cope with reality. It isn't able to cope with the things that are going on around you correctly. And it's not your fault, right? It's not, if you're listening to this and you understand it and you feel the same way, it's not your fault. Because so many of us were never taught as kids to deal with emotions correctly. And you think about it now, it's because it causes you physical and emotional and mental pain now. But it really began as a child. It began when you didn't have a good home life and nobody taught you how to deal with anxiety. Nobody taught you how to deal with anger. Nobody taught you how to deal with sadness. So then you end up depressed because you don't know how to manage your emotions. So then you just want to not deal with your emotions. You push them away. And then it gets to the point where you can't push them away because there are just so many. It's so much pressure on you. So then you have to turn to something that's going to distract you from that. Some people turn to a significant other that they expect to take all this stress off of them, and then those relationships fall apart. Some people turn to weed. Some people turn to harder drugs. Some people turn to smoking or drinking or pills. And everybody, it's this idea that you're gonna get to the end of that, right? You start something. It's a significant other. You get to the end of that relationship. It never worked. It never took away all the pain. So then you need something else. You either need to go get with somebody else, or you need to go get addicted to some drug, and then you take the drug and you get addicted and you keep doing more and more and more because you're still trying to escape from something, and all you're doing is hurting yourself. All you're doing is harming yourself because you're never going to get to a point where those things take it away. Alcohol never died for anybody. Pills never died for anybody. Drugs don't care about you. And if you dealt with something as a child, if you dealt with something young in life, I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry that happened. But now is the time where you're growing up. Now is the time where we are in charge of ourselves. We are in charge of our own emotions. We have to take that cycle that is generations and generations of people failing to deal with things. And we have to break that cycle, and we have to deal with ourselves on our own. And this is why I love music like this, because he's pointing out all these things that so many people deal with but never talk about. The fact it may not be drugs. It may be something as simple as eating or overeating, or literally depending on somebody else as like a girlfriend or a boyfriend to make you happy, to give you happiness. If you don't have them in your life, you're not happy. You think that that's somehow like romantic, but it's not. It's damaging. You have to be yourself. You have to be a strong enough person to be content without them if you're ever going to want to offer something in that relationship in the first place. I know I'm talking a lot, but it's really important. It's really important because he's bringing up all these things, and you guys listen to it and you understand it, but you don't understand why it hits you so hard. You don't understand how to get out of that cycle. That's what this channel is about. Let's go back a little bit. Right here.
Addicted to addiction, everything is so addictive. Can you hold me until it's over? Because right now I feel like I'm finished. So I'll make this bed my prison as I spend my nights in hell. Because these sentences and bars ain't really good for all my cells. And
so, okay, now let's just talk about the rap, because my boy's talented. He says, I'm addicted to addiction, which is just like a deep thought process. But then he's talking about like, I'm just gonna lay here and in my prison because I'm sentenced to hell. And he's basically saying like, I'm stuck in my own mind, I'm stuck in my own emotions, I'm stuck in my own cell that I've created around myself because of all the things that I'm dealing with that I don't know how to deal with correctly, right? That's most of our problems, is that we don't actually know how to deal with these things correctly. And fear makes us afraid to talk about them, makes us afraid to ask for help. But then he says all these bars and lines are not really good for my cells. So now he's talking about like cells, like you're made up of cells. So he's like twisting the prison idea and then like a body idea, an anatomy idea. So it's good. It's good wordplay. It's not something that everybody's gonna catch, but it's something that like you think about as you're writing, and it's talent.
Bed my prison as I spend my nights in hell. Because these sentences and bars ain't really good for all my cells. And I don't know if you can tell, but I really ain't doing too well. I tried to run from my past, tripped up, got tired and fell. Then had to wrestle myself to go back to these memories. If I ever touch your soul, I hope you'll always remember me. But you...
Bro, exactly. So that's exactly what I'm saying, is that this stuff starts when you're young. This stuff starts as a child. This stuff starts in the past, and you don't notice it because you've never known anything different. But once you become an adult and you pursue genuine relationships with other people, and you see how toxic things can become, you see how damaged things can become, you see how your first initial reactions to certain things are not what you want them to be. You have to go back. You have to fight yourself to go back into those places as a kid or as a young adult that you dealt with, and you have to deal with those things, right? I was abused as a kid and neglected at times as a kid. And for me to become a man who was going to have healthy relationships, I had to go back and deal with those things. I had to go back and deal with those emotions. I had pushed them down for so long. I had used girls and sex and drugs and anything else to suppress all those things. But for me to become somebody who could be a good partner to my fiance, or for me to become somebody who could be a good dad one day, I have to go back. I have to wrestle with myself to go back to those memories and deal with those emotions that I suppressed, right? And nobody talks about this, but my guy right here is making it so clear. So it's awesome because so many artists talk about the problem and they don't offer solutions. And he's saying, I ran from my problems for so long and I just kept falling and falling and falling on my face. And that's really what will happen to you. You have to deal with those things. Oh, so good, so good.
If I ever touch your soul, I hope you'll always remember me. But you know what they say, things start to catch up eventually, and it's hard to keep on going. I know that I am the enemy.
From myself, I'm putting me through hell, and I could use some help before it's too late. Save me from myself, 'cause I don't feel so well. I need you here.
This is just for you, Flames, but we have to talk offline. I would love to talk to you. I would love to have you on my podcast. I have so many different things that I think we could talk about. And I would love to hear more of your music too, because it's definitely something that I feel like hits the core of what this channel is supposed to be. So I know the viewers who actually watch this video are gonna love what we're talking about, and I know that they would love a podcast if you were on it. So definitely hit me up.
To tell me I'll be okay, just save me from myself.
So shout out 420 Visuals Productions. Obviously, it looks like he had help with this video on this. He's the one running that, I guess, running that. But super, super good. I definitely enjoyed it. It's on Spotify. Like I said, it'll be the first link in the description. But shout out to my man, IAmFlamez. That was definitely better than what I was expecting. We were able to go really, really deep with it. And I did absolutely mean it when I said, hit me up so you can get on the podcast, because I would love to have you on there. Obviously, you just match the vibe of this whole channel so well. So I definitely want to hear more music from you. But other than that, man, great job. Awesome message. You remind me almost message-wise like a little bit of Massive Man, and then voice style Massive Man, but also kind of like Jelly Roll. I definitely get a lot of different vibes from you. And then obviously like there's some NF in there if you're using the balloons and some other stuff. Super talented. I really enjoyed reacting to that. But you guys let me know what you want to see in the next video, and that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video.
Make room in your life, I'll be your Potiphar's wife. I'll ease your pain and your strife. I'll be your reason to lie, so you can eat with your eyes. Make love with me in your mind. I've been looking for you. I just wanted to help you. I know you're struggling right now. It's been a while since I felt you. I know just the thing to ease the strain, that it overwhelm you. Just forget about your problems with the way that I touch you. I know you think about it. You open pics.